What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the first episode of my playthrough for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now this is by far my favorite game ever. I honestly do not know any game that could ever compare to it. And it is my favorite of the series. So I'm gonna let these cutscenes go through, and I will stop talking.
In Raccoon City, a city controlled by Umbrella. No one dared to oppose them, and that lack of strength would ultimately lead to their destruction. I suppose they had to suffer the consequences of their actions, but there would be no forgiveness. If only they had had the courage to fight. It's true that once the wheels of justice begin to turn, nothing can stop them. Nothing. It was Raccoon City's last chance, and my last chance. My last escape.
This is Chopper Delta, preparing to drop off at area E95070.
What are they?
Waiting orders. Over. All units proceed to Richmond and Victoria. All right.
Let's do it. Let's move. Go, 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 go. Fire! Come and get it. Son of a... Don't give up. They're too many. Don't hold back. No! Where are they? Where did they come from? Take this! Die! You want some more?
Okay, so it's actually a fairly short opening scene. But what I think is funny is that all the special forces and the police seem to think that they're anything other than human. Which is kind of funny because it gives an element of the fact that they're expecting it, or that it's like it had been going on a while before they were called into action. I don't believe you're dead. No, you're not. Yeesh. I am not hanging around for you guys. Screw that.
September 28th, daylight. The monsters have overtaken the city. Somehow, I'm still alive. Okay, we've got to get out of here.
What? What do you think you're talking about? I just lost my daughter out there! How dare you tell me to go back outside?
I'm sorry about your daughter, but there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here.
No! I'm not going anywhere. I'd rather starve to death in here than be eaten by one of those undead monsters! Now leave me alone!
Seems like he's not all that keen to getting his daughter back, which is a bit odd for a father. You'd think that his first inclination would be to go to find his daughter. That was Mr. Dario. I can't remember his second name.
Told you! I'm not leaving! Never! Just get away from me.
Locked himself inside a container. I mean, that's a bit ridiculous. Like, that's a bit of a drastic measure. I mean, it seems like this warehouse has quite a bit of fortitude. Come on, pick up the first aid spray. There we go. So if any of you have noticed, I am playing this on the PC. But I'm playing it through an emulator. Playing the PC version through an emulator. But it's been converted into an image file, but I'm not going to go into details because not many people are interested in that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's why the game is so smooth, although it might be choppy during the recording. I'm not entirely sure because I looked over a couple of takes that I made and they seem to have been a bit slow. But the gameplay itself through the emulator is really smooth. But as I was saying, this is my favorite title of this series. I find that compared to all the other titles like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5, those two titles are really stale, and well, not stale, but it's just they took off in such a ridiculous tangent that I can't fathom at all. And I mean, for the game to take such an unusual turn is just baffling to me as a hardcore fan of the original series. I mean, I know it's still part of the original series, it's just the fact that, like, you know, yeah, Chris is back, that's fine, he's back after the first game. No, he's back after Resident Evil Code Veronica X. But even then, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous how the stories after going. I mean, yes, just like any Resident Evil fan, I am excited to see what Resident Evil 6 is like, just like most of you are. But actually, no, I won't get rid of that. But it's just the fact that the gameplay for these games, for the originals, the first, I suppose you could say the first 4, is fantastic. I mean, the storyline, like, yeah, one thing I will agree with about Resident Evil 5 was the fact that it explained a lot about the storyline in between what was going on in Africa. So it was like, it was going ahead with the story, but it was also explaining the past during the loading screens, and you could also look at the Resident Evil history on the files page in the main menu. But even then, I find that it's just, compared to this, the single positioned camera, it's like fixed camera angles it just makes the experience so much scarier, because they'll position the camera in such a place, it's at such a point. And once again, I apologize for the noise outside. I live in a very noisy estate, in a very noisy house, although my house is clear at the moment, there's no one here. But as I was saying, as far as gameplay goes for Resident Evil 5, it was way too action-based. I mean, like I was saying about the fixed camera angles, you can't see what's coming. They'll position it so you can't see what's coming, and it'll be at the optimal point to scare the living shit out of you. Which is exactly what horror games should be like. This is a survival horror. But then you see games like, I don't know, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, which aren't really survival horrors, because you are, compared to all the enemies in the game, you are, in essence, a ridiculously overpowered person. I mean, you find a ridiculous amount of weapons in such a small area, and you also have a merchant that will sell you any kind of gun that he's hiding underneath his cloak. It seems a bit far-fetched to me. It is, of course, just my opinion. Not a lot of people will agree with me on that. A lot of people like the 4th game and the 5th game as well. But I just don't think that it captured the same sort of horror feeling as, say, this game or Resident Evil 2 did. Yikes. I mean, even stuff like that, when the zombies randomly get some burst of speed, it scares the shit out of you. Now, with me, I'm a bit used to it now because I've played this title so many times, but it has been a few years since I played it. So I won't remember exactly everything. And some scenes are randomized, you know? But it's just the fact that, you know, you look at Resident Evil 5 and you look at Resident Evil 4 and the gameplay is just so linear, it's so predictable. I mean, really the main reason I loved Resident Evil 5 was because of Wesker. Wesker was my favorite character in that game. And, you know, as sad as it seems, like, Wesker, you wouldn't have heard from Wesker since Resident Evil 4. And I don't know, I mean, I suppose it's just me, you know, it's just how I feel towards it. And of course, as I said, other people's opinions will be different, and I don't believe you're dead. No, you're not. I have a feeling he's going to run for me. Or not. You know, I'll take an or not. Ah, we got a crawler. Oh god, we're after losing someone to them. One thing I did love about this game is that body, the man that they just killed, he does reanimate. If I was to wait here for about 5 or 10 minutes, he would get up as a zombie. I'm tempted to show, but I think that it would, because I'm already 12 minutes into the recording, I think it would be too, time consuming to do so. So I think I'll just leave it, and I might do it like as a little bonus part at some point if people want to see it. I don't know why people would want to see it. I suppose I'm just talking out my ass at the moment. But yeah, many people seem to, like, a lot of people of a younger generation are getting into the Resident Evil series now, and they're getting into it because of Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. And I don't think that's a good series, that they're good titles to get into the series with. Yeah, Resident Evil 5, if you want to learn the history of the Resident Evil series. But I think that if you really want to learn about the Resident Evil series, you should play the old games. Play the games like this one. And you really will learn a lot about the game. You'll learn a lot about the characters. You'll learn a lot about their traits, about them as people. So right now we're going to run into one of our first little, I suppose you could say, allies, Brad Vickers, also known as Chicken Heart Vickers for those of you that have played the earlier titles of this game.
Get away!
Now, how someone can survive being bitten, like having chunks torn out of them like that, is beyond me.
Brad, hang in there. Why isn't someone doing something about this?
I didn't know you were still alive, Jill. The police aren't trained for this kind of situation. What could they do? Listen, he's coming for us. We're both gonna die.
What are you saying?
You'll see.
Oh god, I apologize for the noise. My dog is going a bit
members.
berserk at the moment.
There's no escape.
Now, I'm actually going to stop the recording until he stops, in just one moment. Okay, so apologies for that. I had to go and deal with some business. So I'm back now, and let's see, lighter. I apologize for my dog going a bit berserk. He has a tendency to do that sometimes. It's kind of like if he hears any outside noise, he kind of goes absolutely bonkers, which is a bit unfortunate because when I'm doing stuff like this, he's normally in the room with me, and there's no one outside to kind of take care of him. He's a small dog, so it's you know, it's up to me to take care of him when no one else is in the house. But in any case, let us continue. Now, I have to. We've got the lighter and we've got the lighter fluid. The lighter was empty, but now it's not. And we shall continue. Continue our journey of journeys. Our journey to seemingly imminent death by the looks of things. Whoop, no, don't run into the boxes, Jill. So just for the sake of backtracking, I'm going to unlock this door and go this way. That door, if you're wondering, leads back out to the warehouse, the place that I started. So there's no need to worry about where that leads. Oh wow, you guys came out a little earlier than anticipated. You seem to be doing that a lot lately, don't you? Okay. So little further. Little further. Okay, that's good enough. Still gotta deal with two of you. One thing that I've always noticed is that I've always had to deal with these two after, even after I create that explosion. You're not dead. Because it seems that they don't walk close enough to the barrel for it to kill them when it explodes. So it's unfortunate that I have to take such measures to kill them. Okay, I don't like uneven numbers, but I'm gonna have to do that anyway because we're gonna run into our little four-legged friend, the Cerberus, next. Any of you that have played any of the previous or any of the subsequent titles know what the Cerberus is. It's the T-virus infected dog, generally a Doberman, or I think it's a Doberman or a Rottweiler, one or the other. But anyway, continue with this. It's dated September 27th. Okay, so we're going to continue and try not to run into any walls. It's been bound tight by the rope and won't open. The rope seems to be soaked with oil. If this were amnesia, oil would come in useful for refilling a lantern. But this isn't amnesia, this is a completely different kettle of fish. Right. Where are we? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice dodging there, Jill. Oh yeah. Just let the dog hit you. That's just fantastic. Well, the good thing is I'm not too badly injured, otherwise she'd be holding at her waist, which is unusual because she wasn't hit in the waist. But here is our first save point. And I can only carry one gunpowder. That's fantastic. I'm going to reload my gun because I have a feeling that this is going to bring me back to... Okay, no it's not. I thought it was going to bring me back to an even number, a 5 or a 0. Okay, so we're going to put that in there, and we're going to put these up here. As you can see now how I organize my item box. I do not know how many spaces there are in the item box. I could hazard a guess, but I probably wouldn't be right. As you can see as well now, we have 2 shotguns, which can come in handy because the extra 7 rounds can always make a difference against an enemy. Okay, now to explain the gunpowder system, this is the one and only Resident Evil that I've ever seen gunpowders being implemented in. The red gunpowder is for ammo like... Gunpowder A is for ammo like handgun bullets, or for grenade rounds it would be for flame rounds. Gunpowder B, there are 3 types of gunpowder. Gunpowder A, B and C. Gunpowder B is for shotgun shells or acid rounds with grenade rounds. And gunpowder C is for magnum rounds or grenade rounds on their own. You combine 3 together. You could buy 3 gunpowder C's together to get a gunpowder, or I think it's 12 magnum rounds. But the funny thing is, the more you use the reloading tool, the more ammo you're going to get with the gunpowder that's caught in the reloading tool being mixed in, or even getting a new ammo type. So I'm kind of hoarding all of these so that when it comes to me needing to use the gunpowder for ammo, I will. And I'll use it mostly for the gunpowder mostly for the grenade rounds. But it seems like that is it for this episode, guys. I am ranting out my ass again. We're just going to quickly save. The typewriter is a common thread with Resident Evil. Now, you'll see here that I've already saved once. This is a playthrough that I was doing before without recording, so I'm just going to overwrite that because it was only getting to this point. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you want to do me the kind favor of subscribing, then please do. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next part.